I'm Mullah Youngin, and welcome to the Money Tape. So, social media is in an uproar right now after the Baltimore Ravens lost to the Bills in the divisional round. Everyone's still holding this over Lamar Jackson's head in his career. Like, it's kind of like how Peyton Manning started out in his career. Oh, you can't get over the playoff hump. You can't get over the playoff hump. You're 2-5 in the playoffs now. I mean, Peyton Manning was 3-5 in the playoffs before he turned that around. But hey, y'all give him all the credit he deserves. So all I'm saying is I understand that Lamar hasn't been as efficient or as productive in the playoffs as he should. But when it comes to playing in a playoff game, he hasn't had that much help either. It's been a lot of games. The 2019 season, you had the 2023 season when they went to the AFC Championship, and you had this year in the divisional round where his teammates just dropped the ball when it matters the most. I mean, Lamar dug himself a hole in the game early, but he had perseverance and came back. His defense gave him chances to come back and make this a manageable game. The Ravens were down 21-10 coming out of the half. Then it became a point where it was 19-21. So I'm gonna get more in depth on why I don't blame Lamar Jackson for this loss, even though this is something valuable in his career. Meaning, this is something that people can always hold over his head. That he can't get past Patrick Mahomes. He can't get past Josh Allen because he just folds when it's crunch time. As we take a deeper look and go more in depth, I wouldn't say this is a game where Lamar struggled. No, this was not a struggle. This was a game where he let it slip away early, but he had to lock in and get back to his senses. He had two costly turnovers early, and I'm watching the game. Remind you, I'm a big Lamar fan, bigger Josh Allen fan. But I'm looking at the game like, oh my lord, like, come on, Lamar, you gotta take care of the ball. Oh, that was a bad throw. What are you doing? Or why you ain't just go down on the fumble? I mean, he had a interception that he threw. It looks like him and Rashad Bateman was on two different pages. I mean, he's throwing the ball, like 40, 30, 35, 40 yards down the field. And Bateman just does a corner route out of bounds. He does a corner route, and Lamar throws the goal, and the goal gets intercepted. But what I didn't understand was what was he throwing, because even if it was a go route, the safety was back there. But hey, that was the first turnover. And secondly, you had the bad snap. I mean, some people hold that against him. I really don't. He was in a bad predicament. The snap was bad. By the time he turned around, like Lamar stated, he didn't throw the ball because his guy was already his lineman was already ineligible downfield. But in my eyes, even if he would have threw the ball, it would have just been a 5-yard penalty and not a turnover leading to a touchdown. So on that end, I would say once Lamar dropped the ball and fumbled, and they went down there and scored, I knew the game was over early. I mean, it's kind of like I knew Lamar might make it a manageable game, but I knew the game was over. If the Ravens want to win, they have to take over the ball. And this is just something that has Lamar not over the hump, because it's like, and when you get more in depth, you would notice that this is a scenario where they just have to take care of the ball. If they take care of the ball, they win. I mean, they're 2-4 in the playoffs. They have 6 games in total, 6 playoff games they've played in. The Ravens have 11 turnovers in those games. But let me tell you something. In 4 of their losses, they have 10 turnovers. So that means in the 2 games that they won in the playoffs, they only had 1 turnover. That just shows you take care of the ball and you're rewarded with the win. That's all the Ravens have to do, take care of the ball. But as far as Lamar was outstanding. He was outstanding on the day. I mean, Lamar had connected on 18 of his 25 passes with a 72% completion rate, 254 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, 31 rushing yards, and 0 rushing touchdowns. I mean, it was a game where Lamar clicked late. I mean, if this game would have kept going on, lingered on to the fourth quarter, and the Ravens didn't come back, it would have been ugly. It would have been ugly for Lamar. But I don't find it ugly for him, because it's like he was in a position to win. He brung his team back in a position to win, and you just can't control what happens. You can only control so much. You can only control what your hand does when your hands is on the ball. That's just all I'm saying. But we're gonna get more into that later. So now, when we discuss Mark Andrews, this scenario right here with Mark Andrews, it's not something that a lot of people take lightly. You know, he's an athlete and he has a soul at the end of the day. So I'm not really a bashful person. But in my eyes, if anybody had to play the blame game, I would blame Mark Andrews. I also would blame the offensive coordinator also not getting the ball in Derrick Henry's hands. We've seen it in the past when Derrick Henry touches the ball 30 plus times, the Ravens win. You even had a scenario where Justice Hill was clicking on all cylinders early in this game. I believe he had like 5 rushes for 51 yards early in this game, but then he just went quiet. And Derrick Henry also he had a subpar first, second quarter, but had a great third quarter, and it's like he disappeared after the third quarter. It's like he just disappeared. He had like 50 yards in that quarter alone. But I don't know. I don't know. They gotta when it's just like when it comes to the playoffs, the Ravens just fall apart. I don't know. It's something that they do. But as far as Mark Andrews, I mean, the first of all, he's one of the more reliable targets on this team. Like it's rare to see a Mark Andrews drop. As they stated throughout the game, he only had 4 drop passes the whole season, and 2 of these drops came in this game. So the first drop, my reaction, I'm like, okay, it's life. Everyone drops the ball, Larry Stinkerfingers might even drop a ball here and there. Nah, I'm lying. But it was just something I was just like, okay, you dropped the ball, okay, regroup, run the next play. Remind you, it was a wide open drop too, though. Then later on in the game, I believe fourth quarter, the Ravens are making a comeback. The Ravens are down 21-19. So the Ravens were down 5 points. Wait, yeah, no, they weren't down 5 points. Were they down five? Whatever. The Ravens were down. I believe it was 22-19, something along those lines. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not a little accurate right now. I apologize. But the Ravens were down, and if they score, they take the lead. So Lamar was having a marvelous drive. He's doing him. He's feeling confident again. He brung his team back 2 straight drives, 2 unanswered drives with a score. So the Bills is not really clicking at the moment. The Ravens defense is locked in. Next thing you know, they throw the ball up the middle. You have a wide open Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews does a little too much, trying to do too much. He runs. He tries to shake. He tries to get skinny. He thought he was Zay Flowers for a minute, Tyreek Hill or somebody. He jukes to the left. He trying to run. Too slow for that, man. You're a tight end. His safety saw it. Safety said, "Oh no, give me that ball." Pop. Ball popped out. So at that point, I'm like, no, another turnover. So the Ravens have 3 turnovers at this point, and at this point, I feel like it brought the Ravens back. Like, you know how you take 3 steps forward to take 4 steps back. It's like, dang, like we trying to get up there, but you bringing us down. But it was like that was another scenario. I really didn't blame Mark Andrews. I mean, it happens. He was trying to make a play. Then you got people talking, saying, just go down, you're a tight end. I mean, I felt like he should have just went down. But you can't fault him for trying to make a play. All season long, when he do a run after catch scenario, stiff arm, maybe shake 1 or 2 guys, y'all happy. But in a playoff game, when he try to make something shake and he fumble, y'all got to keep that same energy. So what really got to me was the final drive. The Ravens defense came in clutch, stopped Josh Allen on the goal line. I mean, I was almost sure the game was over right there. I thought Josh Allen was going to score. So it's like that was the time. I mean, on that drive, don't get me wrong, I felt like the Ravens should have used clock management better. In my head, I'm thinking, no, no, no. I hope this game isn't over. Cause in my mind, I'm like, okay, the Ravens getting on the field. but you cannot leave Josh Allen time. You can't even leave him a minute. So it was like when the Ravens had the ball, they were playing aggressive. Like you want to play aggressive, you're right. I mean, it's the playoffs. You got to get what you can get when you get it. But it's like the play calling was aggressive. I mean, when they threw that 35, 40-yard bomb up the middle to, I believe it was Isaiah Likely, and he scored, I was like, ooh, okay, Ravens. Now y'all got to play defense again. I mean, y'all can't let them get to the goal line this time and stop them. Y'all can't let them get past half field. You know what I mean? You can't let them get in field goal range because they at home. They might drill something in. So it was a scenario where they scored. It was time for the 2-point play. So on a 2-point play, apparently this is a play that they're comfortable with. I knew before the ball was snapped that they had a play designed for somebody, whether it was Derrick Henry, which was unlikely. I mean, they just took him out the ball game. Whether it was Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, or Rashad Bateman, I knew the play was for one of those guys. Meaning, when the ball was snapped, it was not going to nobody else. It had to be a crazy scenario for the receiver to slip or receiver to just get jammed up out the play for it to go to somebody else. But I knew for a fact Harbaugh had them running a play that once the ball was snapped, the intended target, all eyes was on him. So soon as you snap the ball, lock in on him. I knew it was one of those scenarios, and it was not a bad option for Mark Andrews to be that guy. You know, the ball is snapped. I remember it in slow motion. I'm just like, come on, come on, come on. Lamar rolls out. It's like he double clutches a little bit. Like he double clutches the ball. Like, are you ready? Like that type of thing. Like, are you ready? Like the ball coming to you, and he let the ball go. He floats it. As soon as the ball hits his hands, I jump up. Oh, they tied the game, and then he just it just spills out, you know. And it's a sad scenario because it's like when the moment is so big, sometimes the moment can be too big for us. So it becomes a point where it's like, are the Ravens ever going to get over the hump? Because the moment is always going to be big. Like this is Lamar's MVP race year. I mean, it seemed like he always in the race, but this would be his back-to-back year. And he had a better year this year than last year. Man threw 41 passing touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. That's the least amount of interceptions he's thrown since his rookie year, 7 games in, when he had 3 interceptions. So Lamar has been very efficient this year, very efficient. He the the people who call him a running back, nah, they can't say that this year. I mean, his stats were better than Josh Allen's. His stats were better than Patrick Mahomes on a down year. So it's like I just wanted Lamar to get over this hump. Even if Lamar lost in the AFC champ round, I feel like it would have been better for them to lose next week than to lose this week. It was just it felt different. But yeah, when Mark Andrews dropped that ball, like I was sad for him. It just he looked defeated. I mean, but we talk about Lamar not showing up in the playoffs. I mean, I recall 2019 when Mark Andrews didn't show up. Mark Andrews had costly drops. The whole team had drops. They lost to the Tennessee Titans. The Derrick Henry led Tennessee Titans. Y'all remember the stiff arm. But it's like then you got 2023 Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, he fumbled and he did the unnecessary the what was is it? No, it's not unnecessary roughness. It's unsportsmanlike conduct, and it threw the momentum off, and the Ravens ended up coming short in that game also. Then you got 2020 versus the Bills, slaughterhouse. I mean, Lamar threw, I believe, a 99-yard pick six to the crib in the red zone. So it's like, is the moment ever going to be just small enough for the Ravens to get over the hump, or is it just too big for them? I mean, that's just a question we all have. I mean, Mark Andrews, hold your head. It happens to the most of us, but I'm out. God bless. The money take, baby.